Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So, as you can see, what I have here before you is a blank map depicting each and every single state and their allegiance to one party or the other in the United States presidential election. In order to accomplish this, I actually wrote a pretty neat program in Python that will determine the probability of one state going to either candidate. So, for candidate A, I have selected it to be Donald Trump. Candidate B will be Kamala Harris. So, in these columns here, or what you're seeing in these rows, is all 50 states, how many electoral votes in this column right here, and over here in this column, the far right column, is the probability of that state going to candidate A. So as you can see here, it says 0.85. That means Texas has an 85% chance of going to Donald Trump and earning 38 electoral votes. And then you can kind of go all the way down. If you tally it up, it does add up to 70. There may be a few errors here or there, but overall, it's pretty good at predicting who will win the presidential election at these current odds. I also use this in conjunction with Polymarket to determine the probability of either candidate winning a state. The numbers may be a little bit outdated, but they're still pretty up to date in certain areas. So, like Texas, back whenever Kamala Harris first entered the race, or took over for Joe Biden at the top of the ticket, she had a higher chance, about 15%, of winning Texas. However, now it's probably somewhere around maybe 5%. So that was just a test run. I went ahead and made some adjustments to try and make it a little bit more accurate. I went in and checked all the betting odds on Polymarket to see what the chances were of each candidate winning either state, specifically Donald Trump, because that is who candidate A is. So after running the simulation, or code, that's the wrong one. This is the one we need to run. My bad. Okay. So you look back through here. Texas went back to Donald Trump. Okay. So that's what's more accurate, what I believe. I try to take an unbiased approach to politics and elections in general. But just looking at the numbers, I really don't think there's any chance of Kamala Harris winning Texas and its 40 electoral votes. So before I display these results, I'm going to take a quick look through here. Just scroll on through. If you need to pause the video, go right ahead. But these are the results from that simulation. So as you can see here, Donald Trump wins 288 electoral votes. Kamala Harris is not far behind with 250, which is actually pretty surprising. So what you're looking at right now is what the computer predicts the 2024 election final results will actually end up looking like. The only thing that I thought was a little bit strange is that it happened to give Virginia to Donald Trump. So I went ahead and filled that in as lean because the polls are anticipating that Kamala Harris is going to win the state by a little bit less than a double-digit margin. However, you can't really tell what the actual results are going to be from polling alone. As you can see in the 2016 election, Donald Trump barely had a 1% chance of winning just from polling alone. However, he ended up winning the election by a little bit more than a couple tens of thousands of votes. So you never know what's going to happen. Make sure you go out and vote early, vote on election day. So we're going to go ahead and run the simulation a few more times just to see what kind of results it gives us. So as you can see here, this time the computer was very generous to Donald Trump. So you can see what he got here. You can just look through. So it says here that he's running away with 339 electoral votes. So in my mind, I don't think that could actually happen. I mean, it could. You never know what's going to happen. But just from the indications in the polling right now, I don't really see that happening. But at the same time, it's really not impossible considering that Donald Trump is currently in the strongest position that he's ever been, both in 2016 and 2020. So what you're looking at now is what that computer just predicted the election results would be. As you can see here, Kamala Harris is sitting at 199 electoral votes, Donald Trump at 339. Again, that is absolutely crazy. If something like this were to happen, it would be a massive upset in the electorate. So I ran the simulation again, and this is what I got. Kamala Harris wins the election with 5 additional electoral votes over that 270 mark, with Donald Trump sitting at 263. So this is very well a possibility. This could happen. It is a lot more realistic than the last simulation that you saw, at least in my mind. So as you can see here, you can pause it if you like, just take a look at those results. So I ended up catching something right before I showed you guys the results. So the simulation actually gave Nevada to Donald Trump, funnily enough. I kind of oversaw that. I didn't really notice that. So as you can see here, Donald Trump's sitting with 262 electoral votes, with Kamala Harris sitting at 276 plus or minus 1 district. So yeah, this is very well a possibility. However, it goes against the trend that these 3 blue wall states vote on the same or for the same candidate. So the last question that I had for myself is, if I ran this as a simulation hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times, who would end up winning more overall? What would be the average that a candidate would win in this simulation with the current betting odds? So it's, as you can see here, this isn't really reflecting how many times we're running the simulation. So I'm going to have to add 2, 3. Okay. So in this nifty little function right here, all I need to do is add or subtract how many times. I could do it 10, 100 times, however many times I want to run the simulation. And it'll like give me how many times each candidate wins. So right now we're looking at 1 million. I don't think that's a good idea. So, right, we're going to run it right now. Okay, so the results after 100,000 simulations. Donald Trump wins on average 60,893 times, with Kamala Harris's winning on average 37,691 times. Okay, just for good measure, I wanted to see what happened if I ran it 1 million times. I thought it was going to crash my computer, but thankfully it didn't. So out of the million times that this script was ran, like, oh my gosh, how did my computer not explode? Donald Trump wins on average 607,000 times compared to Kamala Harris's 378,000 times. So it's clear that there is a favorite in this election. And I'm thinking that the wind is against Donald Trump's back at this point, just because with the current polling, everything is looking very highly favorable for Donald Trump. According to the betting market, he has a 2-to-1 odds, or he has 2-to-1 odds of winning the presidency. But you never really know what's going to happen on election day, so make sure you get out and vote, make your voices heard, vote early, vote on election day. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.